Hello and welcome to E-MultiSkills video tutorial. In this video tutorial, we will learn how to restore a single database from MySQL database, which has been backed up for all the databases which are hosted on that MySQL instance. So this demo will be performed on MySQL 8.0, which is installed on RHEL. Red Hat Enterprise Linux. In my case, it is Oracle Enterprise Linux, and the four steps which will be used is we are going to create a backup user which is going to take a backup of all the database. Then in the second step, we are going to create a passwordless connection so that the user ID and password is not exposed. In the third step, we are going to take a backup of all the databases, and in the fourth step, we are going to drop one of the database and then restore it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to log into MySQL instance on the Linux box. This is my Linux box, and I'm logged in as MOBA Xterm, and I just fired mysql-u root-p. Password is displayed on the screen. So everything, this is demo, so everything is being displayed on the screen. So I'm logged into the database now. As mentioned several times in the previous tutorial as well, we are using the scripts to create the user. So it is just create user MySQL backup at localhost identified by some password. Then we are giving some grants. So I'm executing. Let me show the list of the users which are existing as of now. These are the default users which are existing at the time of default database creation. So let me create the user, and then we'll try to log in with that user. So I have created, you can see that I have created a user MySQL backup which can log in from the local host. First step is completed. Moving on to the second step. In the second step, we are going to create a passwordless string using the MySQL config editor set -- login path will give a string name, then on which host, so -- host, I'm going to give it localhost, then for which user, so it is -- user equal to the user which I have created just now, that is MySQL backup -- password, the password which has been generated during the user creation. So let me execute this command from the shell, and this will prompt for the password. I need to feed in the password which we have generated using the create user statement. The command executed. Now let me test it out. The command to test this is mysql-config-editor print -- all. So this will display you all the details other than the password. To log in without giving the password, just I'll say mysql -- -login-path and the string name. So you can give the string according to your nomenclature which you are following. So if I say mysql -- login path, so I'll be able to log into the MySQL prompt. So this has been done so that we don't have to expose the user ID and the password. So the command to take the backup of all the databases, I will say mysqldump -- -login-path, and this is what we have created as the string -- all databases, and it is going to take the backup of all the databases. This command may take 2 to 3 minutes, so either I pause the video or I explain what is going to happen. So the best way, so I think this is created. Let me see. Yeah, so this is current time, and this is for all the databases. The dump has been created, and in the next step, what we are going to do is we are going to drop one of the database so that all the contents are gone away, and then we will try to log in MySQL. Okay, let me log in with the string. Connected to MySQL. Now just say show databases. You can see we have a database with the name testdb, and other total 7 databases exist along with the system databases. So we are going to drop one of the database, and then we will restore that particular database from the dump which we have just completed the export. So show databases, you can see testdb doesn't exist. So let's create the blank database, and we will execute this script just to see what is the size of all the databases which are hosted in this MySQL instance. So the other than testdb, all are showing some value. That means it is blank in size. So what I'm going to do is now is I'm going to restore only the test DB. So restore one database on same server. So I will just say mysql -- login path. This is the login path name. This is the database name which we are going to restore, and this is going to take some time. So let me execute it from some other prompt. So let's execute this. mysql -- login path E-MultiSkills underscore mysql backup. This is the passwordless string which has been created. Then the database name, then the inwards arrow, so that this dump value data will go inside the database. So if you see the difference, the only difference between mysql backup is we used mysqldump, and then -- all - databases redirect it to the location where you wanted to take a backup. And when it has to import or restore the database, I'll just say mysql -- login path, the database name, and the inwards arrow, and the complete location of the dump. This is how we do, and this is the script which is used to check the database size. So it is going to take a couple of minutes. We'll have to wait till that time. So if we see the backup dump, which is it is a plain text only. There is nothing great in that. When we do a mysql dump backup, it puts all the database metadata in terms of create a statement and all the data in terms of insert. So when you restore the database, so first of all, it will check whether the databases exist or not. I'll quickly show you how it looks like. So I have few of the databases backed up in particular location. So the location is this one, CD. And let me see this one. This has been backed up some time back. It is a big file, so you have to be patient enough to view the content. So it is, you can see the MySQL dump. This is the dump version. Distribution is 8.0. Where did we execute it? Is on Linux x86-64. The host name is localhost. Database is this one, and these are the comment section. Then it says -- this is the comment again. Current database is employees. And if you see it as create database statement, create database, and then it is giving the database name, default character set. Then it is saying use employees, and then drop table if exists. So if in that particular database, if this table exists, drop it, and then it is for the drop view statement as well. And if we come further down, it is dropping the table if exists, then it is creating the table. So it is first the drop table, and then it is create table, then it is the insert values. So all the table data is inserted. And if you see the next one, it is dept underscore employee. So there is a table which is being dropped. If it exists, then there is a create table. So it's very, very simple. So in the meantime, the backup has the restore has completed successfully. And if we check it, so I'm using a shortcut to log into the database, and just say show databases. So you can see that testdb exists now. So earlier when we have I think we executed from here, so I'll show that a screen as well. So in this screen you can see that when we dropped the database, it doesn't exist when the restore was just initiated. So backup and restoration in MySQL is very, very simple. You take a backup of all the databases or single databases, and then you have the option to restore all the databases, or you can restore one database. Just keep in mind that you need to check the size of the database which you need to restore, and the file system, if it has enough storage or not. And also you need to make sure that that bin log is, if it is enabled by default in 8.0. If you think you don't need the changes which are happening when it is getting restored, means the restoration bin logs, then you can set it off, and it will avoid filling up the bin log binary logging position, and that particular file system will not fill up. So it's very simple. So just a recap of what we had done. So we created a backup user, we created the passwordless connection, then we created a script to backup all the databases, then we restored the one particular database onto the same server. So we dropped the database, then we created the blank database. It is just drop database name, and create database and database name. So it's a very, very simple operation. I hope it is going to help, and thanks for watching.